In the newest factory of one of Korea's biggest corporations, the 7 o'clock shift settles down to watch the daily news bulletin about what the company is up to. The company's name is Samsung, a world leader in state-of-the-art high-tech. Samsung is one of half a dozen or so giant Korean companies whose products have become world famous in the last 10 years. The Samsung plant is in the city of Gumi, one of the fastest growing of Korea's many centers of high-tech industry. And Gumi is just one of the many bases that Samsung has throughout the Asia-Pacific region. A generation ago, Gumi City was a wreck, heavily damaged following the Korean War, a broken-down place surrounded by rice fields. But recently, the government has been targeting the area as a center for high-tech development, especially for the big corporations. It's part of a plan to decentralize industry away from the country's big, overcrowded cities. There are two sides to Gumi's high-tech landscape. First, the chemical plants turning out the basics like circuit boards. Second, the factories where the bits are assembled into high-tech products. Although factory is hardly the right word for the carefully landscaped areas where the chrysanthemums outside seem to be just as crucial as what's going on indoors. Solmi Bey got a recent promotion to group supervisor in the mobile phone assembly area. She came straight to Samsung from school when she was 18. Working for one of the giant Korean corporations is more like a way of life than a job. The employees get good pay and good conditions. The company expects commitment and hard work. The work routine is tough. Leisure time is limited and unpredictable.
근무조가 A, B, C조로 나눠지는데요.
A shift is between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m, B from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m, and C from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. Your shift is always changing, so it's not that easy to arrange regular leisure activities. Depending on your shift, you get a day off either on Saturday or Sunday, so the day off isn't always the same. It's been so busy recently that I couldn't have a day off at all.
The Gumi assembly line exports mobile phones to markets around the world. It is, of course, one of the most lucrative high-tech products currently around, and the race to develop new manufacturing techniques and new models is deadly serious.
This is our latest model, the SC370. Its weight is 142 grams. Look how light it is. So light and shock resistant.
The market for mobile phones, especially in Asia-Pacific, is cutthroat. And Samsung currently have an edge over the competition through the voice recognition facility.
You push the function button on the side and up comes Say Name. So you say, Home, Home, and it's dialed automatically.
The Koreans spend more hours at work than almost any other country in Asia-Pacific. It's part of the deal with the big companies.
There's one annual holiday at the end of July and the beginning of August. Just one. The whole company closes down for 5 days. If you were to complain, I think that the probability of having a longer holiday would be 0. I wish I had a month of holiday. I daydream about this when I get tired of working.
One slot for lunch choice number 1, another for choice number 2, and the amount for the cut price meal automatically taken off the staff's wages. Samsung's high-tech canteen is only one of a string of benefits that are commonplace with the big Korean corporations.
Everything's very convenient here. There are all kinds of facilities. The company has shops, restaurants, laundries, dry cleaners, leisure activities, sports, everything. The problem is that we don't have enough time to use all the opportunities because our shifts are changing all the time. It's kind of sad.
Professor Park, a water specialist, kept an eye on the phenol affair.
In the 1980s, our economy was expanding very quickly, and our society was really only interested in making money. We didn't pay enough attention to the environment, and our rivers and streams became contaminated. Then the phenol incident happened, and this has really affected people's attitudes.
Daegu City started building a new water treatment plant. The company who let the phenol into the river gave £3 million towards it. And the water authorities have put in state-of-the-art equipment to monitor the water that the new plant puts back into the river.
Daegu City no longer cuts corners when it comes to its environmental protection budget. People take the view now that the environment must be cared for. I think this shows that our society intends to be aggressive on environmental issues and to improve them from now on. That's my opinion.
The reason why I live in the dormitory is that the Samsung dormitory is a nice place. I could rent a room in town, but it would cost twice as much. My parents' home is a long way from my work. There's only one bus a day, and it makes it almost impossible to commute. It was a bit awkward the first time I lived in the dormitory. You've never seen the people before. They come from different hometowns, their accents are different. It's really funny if you put them together in the same place. You might expect a big fight, but that's not the case. People living in the same room get very friendly with one another.
Phone production in the factory has gone back to normal this week, so Salmi gets a day off. Time to get home for a short visit to her parents' farm. All the roads leading out of Kumi pass through valleys full of rice fields, rice on the flatland, trees on the slopes, classic Korean landscape. There's hardly a young person in Korea who doesn't have a member of their family still living on the land. Korea's rise to its position as a major world producer of state-of-the-art high-tech hasn't yet got rid of strong family roots, often 3 generations deep, all living, like at Solmi's home, in the same house on the same farm. Solmi's father, Jong-gun Bae, like most farmers in Korea, is grappling with the problem of how to keep rice farming profitable in a fast-changing world. Jong-gun's plan is to switch slowly to new crops like watermelons, grown in vinyl greenhouses. There's never any discussion about whether sons and daughters help out on the farm. They just do.
My parents are still actually very sad that I live away from home. I cried a lot when I parted with my dad. I cried so much that they asked me why my face was so swollen on my first day at work. My dad cried a lot too. It's been 3 years now. We don't do that stuff anymore, but he still feels sad.
In the beginning, she always used to come home on Saturday afternoon and Sunday to help us. Nowadays, she often skips Sundays. Well, she's got a boyfriend. And I guess it's the time in her life for that kind of thing. don't you think?
남자를 알 때 되면 알아야 될 거 아닙니까?
Solomy's really good at art. She gave up college so that her brother and sister might attend one themselves. She's very kind.
스스로 안 갔어요. 미술 참 잘 그립니다, 저.
When I think about going home at the weekend, I feel relaxed. At work during the week, I always feel tense. What I feel at home is a sense of comfort. One of the reasons I feel relaxed is that I can eat better. In the dormitory, I don't eat well. When I come home, I can't stop eating. Sometimes I don't want to go home because I put on weight. I see my mum, dad, brother and grandma all eating together, and I feel relaxed. It's nice.
Solmy's grandmother's life spans the whole of Korea's recent geography, to the voice-activated mobile phones of today, from desolation after the Korean War ended in 1953. Solmy asked her grandmother to talk about her life at that time.
Life, after the war, was a matter of staying alive and avoiding death. Rice was very scarce, and all there was to eat were the wild plants in the mountains. I went to see a doctor, and he told me my blood was drying up because I was suffering from malnutrition. That's why my ears are ringing and I'm hard of hearing.
And what does her grandmother think about young people now?
Oh, I don't think about that sort of thing. I was so poor in the past. I'm grateful for my children and for all I've got. Now, we don't have anything to worry about. When I die, I want to be buried in my hometown,